You've been told for years that the Apple Studio display is the ultimate, undisputed king of Mac monitors. But what if I told you that dropping $1,600 on one right now is actually a massive mistake? There is a hidden spec inside this massive 40-inch piece of glass sitting behind me that Apple absolutely refuses to talk about. And I promise you, once you understand what it does, you will never look at your desk setup the same way again. Welcome back. For the last couple of weeks, I have completely overhauled my desk setup, tossing my old displays to the side to make room for the ALogic Edge 40-inch Ultrawide. If you remember the sheer awe of upgrading from a massive, desk-crushing CRT monitor to your very first flat screen, you know exactly what it feels like when technology finally catches up to the speed of your brain. That is exactly what this monitor feels like. We are talking about 40 inches of pure, uninterrupted screen real estate. No bezels down the middle. No weird color shifting between two different brands of monitors. Just one massive command center. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Fernando, I am an Apple purist. If it doesn't have an aluminum unibody and an Apple logo on the back, I don't want it anywhere near my desk. Trust me, I used to think the exact same thing. We've all been burned by third-party plastic monitors that look terrible and feel even worse. But here is the thing. Mark Gurman and the usual supply chain whispers have made it pretty clear that Apple's monitor lineup isn't getting a revolutionary overhaul anytime soon. You are basically stuck paying top dollar for a 27-inch, 60Hz display. Enter the ALogic Edge. The design alone is enough to make you do a double take. They packed all the complex compute, the ports, and the input-output magic down at the bottom chin, leaving the rest of the display impossibly thin. We are talking 8mm thick. Honestly? NASA called, they want their engineering back. The iPhone 17 Pro in your pocket right now is actually thicker than the thinnest point on this 40-inch display. It's built from premium aluminum and glass, so it feels incredibly rigid. You bump your desk, and this thing stands solid. No cheap plastic wobbling here. I grabbed the space gray to color match my M5 MacBook Pro, but they make a stunning silver if you want to keep that classic Mac aesthetic. Setting this beast up was surprisingly effortless. The stand uses a brilliantly counterweight hinge system. A monitor this massive should require a gym membership to adjust, but you can literally slide it up and down with a single finger. It replaced my 27-inch bank and a vertical 16-inch Asus monitor entirely. It's like clearing the clutter off your desk and finally being able to breathe. But let's get back to that hidden spec I mentioned earlier. This is not just an ultra-wide. This is a 5K 2K display. And no, that is not a typo. Prior to getting my hands on this, I had never even heard of that resolution in my entire life. Essentially, you are getting the exact same vertical resolution as a standard 4K display, but stretched horizontally to a massive 5K. Think of it like taking 1.5 4K monitors and fusing them together flawlessly. The pixel density sits at about 139 ppi. Sure, on paper, that is lower than the Studio display's 218. But in the real world, sitting at a normal desk distance, there is zero pixelation. It is razor sharp. And this is where it gets insane. When you pair that massive, anti-glare horizontal canvas with a 100Hz refresh rate, it changes everything. We have been spoiled by promotion on our iPhones and iPads for years. Going back to a 60Hz desktop monitor feels like going back to dial-up internet. Scrolling through a massive Final Cut Pro timeline, managing complex personal finance spreadsheets, or just browsing the web is buttery, fluid perfection. Combine that with a Logitech MX Master mouse, using that side scroll wheel across 40 inches of glass? It is an absolute dream for anyone trying to get serious work done. Now let's talk about the actual brain of this operation, because it's not just a screen. It's a full-blown workstation hub. You get 90 watts of power delivery right through a single USB-C cable. That means it charges your 14-inch MacBook Pro at full speed while driving the display. One cable. He rules them all. On the back, you've got two additional USB-C ports, HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort 1.4, Ethernet, and an audio jack. Personally, I run my MacBook Pro into a CalDigit Thunderbolt hub just to manage my SD cards for video editing, and then run a single cable up to the display. But if you just want a clean, one-cable minimalist setup, this monitor handles it natively. So, how does this actually stack up against the $1,600 Apple Studio display? Your upgrade decision really depends on this one question. Do you want a slightly brighter, more pixel-dense screen? Or do you want a massive workspace that actually speeds up your workflow? The Studio display gives you 600 nits in true 5K, but it traps you at 27 inches and a sluggish 60 Hz. The ALogic gives you a staggering 40 inches, that's 13 additional diagonal inches of workspace, plus a much smoother 100 Hz refresh rate, and incredible I/O, all for around $1,529. Which brings us to the final payoff. Why does Apple refuse to talk about 5K 2K ultrawides? Because they want to sell you two Studio displays to get this exact same horizontal workspace. That is $3,000 just to see your whole timeline at once. The ALogic Edge gives you the ultimate creator canvas, the buttery smooth refresh rate, and the premium metal build without requiring a second mortgage. It even has built-in speakers, and while it lacks a built-in webcam, you can easily mount something like an Aspect right on top next to a bank halo light. You can even grab a bundle from ALogic for around $2,000 that includes a light bar, a webcam, a desk mat, and their own mouse and keyboard. For me, this ultra-wide 5K 2K has completely opened a new door, and there is no going back to a cramped screen. But I want to hear from you. Are you still holding out for Apple to finally release a larger, high refresh rate Studio display? Or does a 40-inch workstation like this completely change your mind? Let me know exactly what monitor you are running right now in the comments down below. And if you want to see how my M5 MacBook Pro handles this exact setup, check out the video right here on screen. Until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace.